Today I'm going to give you 3 tips when working with resin art. Hi, I'm Deidre Williams, owner of the DMW Collection, where we talk all things resin art and candle making. Okay, as you can see, I've already prepped my board and I've already put down my gems. So in this project, I'm using just some glass, and my favorite place to get glass is gonna be Celestial Glass. I will go ahead and link that for you guys in the description below. They have all different sizes. My favorite is 1/4, or I'll use 1/2 inch. Either way, I'll have both of those in the description. So the first tip that I'm gonna have for you guys is when you're laying colors, I prefer not to lay my colors together. As you can see right here, I am laying my second color. I've already laid my gold compote. Now I'm going to lay my white, and then I'm going to lay my green. But as you notice, I am not laying my colors on top of each other. That's something that I've just discovered over time. It works for me. So pretty much what I do is I lay them separately, the colors that I want on the board, and I kind of try to get the design that I'm going for right. So if I want it to be like squiggly, or if I want it to be a diamond, or if I want it to be straight, or however I want the design to be, I lay my colors in that pattern first. So that's what I did to start this off. So I knew that I wanted it to be gold, white, and this beautiful green color. Again, guys, I tried to link all the colors in the description below, but if you see something that I didn't link, definitely let me know and I'll get it down there. Most of these things that I buy come from Amazon or Be Resin. I don't use a lot of other outside sources from that. Those are just the 2 that works for me. So a little bit more about this piece. I am using resin to create this. So the resin that I use is going to be Be Resin. It's 2 parts, part A and part B, equal parts of both. When you're first starting off with resin, I understand that it can be really, really tricky to work with and understand. So I highly recommend just using a 1-to-1 ratio resin. And then once you're comfortable with that, then you can move on to other types of resin like 1-to-3 ratios and things like that when you're doing deep pours, whatever it is that you want to do. But I just find this super easy to do when you're first starting out because it makes things less complicated. And the way you want to measure it is by volume, not weight. That just means that you want to look at you want to use a measuring cup and do like ounces to ounces as opposed to putting it on a scale and weighing it out. So that is going to be super helpful for you guys when you're first starting out. And the second tip that I'm going to give you guys for today is going to be how to reduce tension in your pieces. So tip number 2, use a popsicle stick. It is my ultimate favorite thing. They're super cheap. You can get a bulk of these from Amazon, from Dollar Tree, from Michael's, all the places, right? And I do not flood my boards with resin. I pour down my resin first in the layout that I want it to be, and then I use my popsicle stick to merge the colors. The reason this is so important is you don't want this. I don't like when my art looks flooded and colors are all mixed and all over the place. If that's the style that you're going for, then completely ignore this tip. Do it what you do, but I like for my art to be a little bit cleaner, and this is how I obtain those clean lines. Is don't pour them together, lay out your piece first, and then you just want to use your popsicle stick to kind of encourage the merge. And so after I did this, I do add more resin throughout. So you're going to notice when you're doing this, since I didn't lay a lot of resin to begin with, some spaces are going to be a little bit thinner than others. So like you seeing right now, I'm just looking, taking a step back from my piece, looking at it, seeing if I love it, seeing what colors kind of merge together. Because if you can see the top of this green part, the white has already taken over some of that. So now I'm adding a little bit of green to the bottom. Instead of adding more white there, I decided to add more green because I want the green to be present. I want like a deep, strong green in this. And that's pretty much happens when you put too much resin on the board, the colors will just merge and then you'll have like more grayish tone colors instead of deep rich colors. So that is I hope this is super helpful for you guys. Just use the popsicle stick and then you can add more resin as you go along, but always take a step back from your project to see how you like it and then adjust accordingly. And that's another reason that I don't merge my colors, because sometimes I will lay my colors down and I'll be like, you know what, I actually want to add another tone of green, or I actually want to add another color, or I want another pop of gold to be in here. And if your colors aren't laid together, it allows you to easily incorporate another color to your board. So there's a lot of reasons I don't lay my colors on top of each other, and that's just a few of them. I mean, I can go on and on and on. But yeah, so when you're first starting out, try this technique. Use it. Let me know what you guys think of it. Let me know if it works for you, if it helps. The only thing I will say is it's a little bit more time consuming doing it this way, because then you're spending a lot of time encouraging the two colors like you see me doing here. You need to be very, very careful, because you also, like, resin is kind of stringy, right? So you also don't want to start blending the colors by using the popsicle stick to move the colors into each other, and then you accidentally sling some white into the green, because I don't know, I just don't like it to be messy like that. Okay, so I don't know if you guys can tell, but to the left of the screen is a little yellow project. So I actually made two projects unbeknownst to me. That wasn't really the plan, but I had so much resin left over. I was like, you know what, let me just go ahead and make another one, which is why I'm like scraping all the resin that I can out of the bottom of this piece. So these both have sold, which I absolutely love. That I do sell my art in a numerous of places. If you guys want to know more about how to sell your art, let me know in the comments below, and I will create a video all about selling your art. Okay, so this brings me to my next point, which you see me using just a heat gun here. I'll link that in the description box below as well, where I got that heat gun from. They're actually really inexpensive, and they last a really long time if you don't get resin all over them. Okay, so the last tip that I have for you guys is going to be tip number 3, which is heat gun versus torch. So I know that if you watch a lot of resin art videos, you've seen a combination of the two. Here's an easy breakdown that helps me keep it together. I use a heat gun sometimes to pop the bubbles, but for the most part, I use a heat gun for floating pigments and to encourage movement in the resin. So as you see me doing here, I am blowing that gold out. I didn't put enough pigments to really push the resin out to create the effect that I was going for, but I use the heat gun to encourage movement and the torch to pop bubbles. So I hope this was super helpful, guys. Here's some pictures of the finished product, and I will see you guys soon.